Assalamu alaikum, fam. So, I want to talk about how I feel about the current state of America, and a lot of people have expressed this. And to those who are getting mad at Muslim YouTubers for trying to have alpha male masculinity, hear my view. America was a strong country. We had presidents like Ronald Reagan. Even Obama had some swagger to him, had a little bit of masculine energy. John F. Kennedy, he was a little bit, he could have been more moral, but he still had some male energy to him. Jefferson, John Adams, the founders and such, Benjamin Franklin, even some of them, they had a masculine, unique energy. Seeing our leader now be sickly lost and at the G7 summit, getting the backhand by Boris, and you see strong leaders of Duterte of the Philippines. Even the leader, Maduro of Venezuela, comes off more strong than our leader. And having a female who might get in there, who's cold and not at all like Tulsi Gabbard in terms of like soldier female energy, it is quite depressing. It is a very strange feeling as someone in their 30s who grew up loving the troops, seeing strong men, to now seeing the BET Awards celebrate utter degeneracy. I saw a study literally just like 15 minutes ago that said the testosterone rates in America and fertility are going down. It is very demoralizing. And for those of us who've studied history, if there's no strong men left, it's going to be quite terrifying. And as they take away your right to own a gun, as they expand their study and research and promotion of militaristic robots, you worry. And as more and more Americans are mentally ill, losing religion, becoming more psychotic, it's really terrifying. And the right wing of America used to be much stronger and more moral, and everyone on the right has failed. And I think the people on the right need to cut off the alcohol consumption. I think it's making them sloth-like. They need to stop caring about sports. They can do sports, but stop caring about the NFL, golf, all those sports. Stop caring about it. Get off alcohol. Stop smoking cigars. And it's time to get the men back to being men. The depravity that the far left is pushing in America is getting to such insane proportions, and they censor so heavily on YouTube that people in other countries aren't even going to be ready for what's coming for them. But, for example, the Washington Post said, kink should be at Pride and kids should see it. And if you don't know what kink is, your consciousness has been spared. They want kids to see kink, and they say that if you argue against it, it's hate speech. And they're making it public. And we're seeing further the reduction of our military. And it's quite depressing and scary to see love being put into the military. This is not healthy for us psychologically as people who are in a military-based empire. Gang rappers are promoted in BET Awards, and the way they act, they twist what masculinity is, and then you see a whole month dedicated to anal enthusiasts and people who want you to know what they do in their bedroom. A whole month is dedicated to them, but only one day of Memorial Day for the people who die for this country. Only one day for fallen troops. But a whole month for people who want us to know what kind of sex they like. And them showing pictures of holding hands and kissing and smiling and low testosterone members of the military. One weak link in the chain puts everything at risk. And this sort of humiliation ritual feels like our own government, the globalists and our corrupt politicians, they're mentally traumatizing us. You have the very woke, militant, vegan atheists who want to ban meat consumption. They write articles about how we should eat bugs and how young boys are getting shots of estrogen and it's making them feel better. It's really hard to deal with because it's like almost like you want San Andreas to wake up. San Andreas is an earthquake fault line in America that goes right under San Francisco. And the more depravity we see pushed in our faces, the more they censor common sense, the more they silence any moral people, ethical people, the more you're like, can San Andreas just wake up? It's really, this is not healthy. It's like our politicians crushed our economy. They're reducing police presence. They promote degeneracy. Women were like they're just being told to like just be these twerking creatures. I saw a video where, little kids were twerking and people were clapping and saying it was good. And there's another video, you've probably seen it, where women were twerking on an ambulance. And just seeing women be mindless creatures shaking their butt, and then seeing men like treat them all like strippers, and then seeing our military be feminized, and seeing softness in the military is very traumatic. People can make fun of me all they want, but there's something satanic about it. There's something occultist about it. There's something wrong about it. The extreme subliminal messages and overall food inoculation, pills, bad music, bad role models, all the way they're attacking our men, and how the women are cheering it because they think they're going to get in power and utilize the military-industrial complex for their political agendas is terrifying. And then further, the religious, godly men are being targeted by feminist, liberal atheists who are godless, who are ruining the divine order of what Allah has ordained for the system. This is not a good feeling. This is a horrible feeling to have inside. It's weird living in California. It's weird living in a place that just feels like every day children are less safe. For example, you've probably also seen it if you follow a lot of news sources that are not mainstream, if they're just like regular people, where a biological male who identifies as a woman, went into a spa that was supposed to be for women only, and he walked around with his dangly bits out, and little girls saw it. And when the women went to complain to the spa owners, they were terrified of being called transphobic, and the women were asked to leave. And online, you can see how people were saying that all the women who complained were transphobic. And it used to be that if a biological male exposed himself to children, he would get arrested by the police. But now they have protections under hate speech and discrimination laws. So I want you to know that if you go into stores like Target, where they allow biological males to enter into the changing rooms or the public restrooms, have your kids go to the bathroom before. And you need to stop letting your kids go to facilities where they allow such bathroom usage and locker room usage by such ideologies. If you are a Muslim in California, we need to leave this place. May Allah grant me money little by little to get out of here. This place is not coming back to morality. This place is going to be really, really bad. I think we Muslims, we must pray that, I think California should be separated from the United States of America. I think maybe it's time for red states and blue states to divorce one another. We used to be the United States. Our leaders were supposed to preserve the Union. And now the minority and the mentally ill, the fringe woke, they have taken over the universities. They have taken over all the apps. They are ruling from Silicon Valley. This is a whole new battlefront for ethical, moral, religious people. And there's not going to be a lot of escape for us in the schools, in the stores, when we go online. You know, there's no flag that we raise to just highlight dead soldiers, but the rainbow flag is raised for a whole month outside of hospitals. It's getting to a point where I don't even recognize the principles of my own country. If you love and want to preserve your country, they say you're an extremist, you're this, you're that. If you say you love masculine men, they say you're hateful. If you want to protect children, they say that, you know, you're backwards and conservative, you're tribal, you're primitive. We are getting into a very weird point. I think that if you're living in a Muslim country, please feed your man beef. Encourage your boys to be masculine, please. Please, more Muslim male YouTubers, please create more masculine channels. Please, just even if it's like 2 minutes of you working out or you giving male advice, you have to come forward. These people are winning, and even on LinkedIn, there's censorship for simple things, hate speech. They're coming. And just be careful what you put into your bodies, okay? Please be careful what you put into your bodies. Please, maybe more of the men can talk about how alcohol reduces sperm counts, how eating a bad diet causes, you know, your gut biome to affect your mood, like depression and anxiety. More Muslims need to get control of their food supply, install water filters. We have to step up, because the mental illness that is being allowed to rule instead of being put into asylums is getting quite scary. I mean, drag queens doing story hour, and then if you don't want that, because drag queens used to be men who dressed up like women who would perform in strip clubs and were famous for being, you know, something sexual. Then seeing them around children, and liberal women, feminists who are lacking moral codes and who are atheistic, changing our culture. America every day is becoming more godless. Our youth are being encouraged to be animalistic perverts, to be objects. And then another half is going into the universities, becoming debt slaves, and thinking they're insufferable know-it-alls because they got a piece of paper with a title on it. They disrespect farmers, they disrespect conservatives, they disrespect middle-class working people who don't want to, you know, have Wells Fargo own their life. They're trying to ban homeschooling. This is not a good feeling. Seeing someone as weak and frail as Joe Biden in the White House it's a shame. It's a disgrace. Other countries have much better rulers who at least don't seem like they're lost. We're basically seeing the collapse of America. Our politicians destroyed our economy. The music industry is promoting degeneracy. The food industry is being taken over by globalist corporations that put preservatives and chemicals in the food that mess up the digestive system, the endocrine system, the reproductive system of our people. Alcohol and pills are promoted. Broken families exist everywhere. Abortions are celebrated. I really do feel like America is turning into what Rome was like when Nero and Caligula came into power. Except this time it'll be more terrifying because the internet will censor warnings for other people and there'll be robots. Even San Francisco has a couple of friendly looking robots that patrol the street. But in the future they're going to get less friendly looking and more smart and intelligent. And the more the Democrats and the liberals and the progressives get in power, it seems the more types of people who worship the state, who worship scientists. Whatever a scientist says in a lab coat, people will do whatever they say, even if they don't understand the science. The new religion is the scientists. And these scientists act like magicians. And they lack a lot of ethics. And good doctors are pushed out. And we're getting to a very weird area. We're getting into a very weird area. This is not a good thing. And then seeing our border wide open and seeing all these people coming here who aren't going to be helped. There is a hope that the masculine men who come from Latin America can help us to bring back male energy. And those Latinos and the Latinas, they have traditional values. They might be able to help us to push back the left. But if you're a Muslim in America, we need to go to red states. We have to get out of here. You have to create a YouTube channel. You have to expand alt tech. You have to get involved now. You have to get involved now. You can't sit on the sidelines anymore. This is getting so bad. And people, they're keeping us distracted by Netflix, shopping, unemployment checks, breads and circuses. I mean, Karl Marx said that he was a communist, but he did have a point with how capitalist systems do utilize that. And we are being inoculated with that. I mean, please, fathers and mothers, talk to your children about femininity, masculinity. This is getting to the point of psychological abuse that we Americans and Californians who are not insane have to go through. We see homeless people everywhere. Liberals say they want to legalize all drugs. We see just tents everywhere, garbage everywhere, gangs everywhere. And then the really posh university brats who are in debt telling us we're evil and trashing people because they're farmers or conservatives or because people shop at Walmart or are poor or who love God. This is not good. And if you're a liberal Muslim, you need to reevaluate whose side you're on. You need to reevaluate it. I'm never voting blue again. Unless it's like Tulsi Gabbard. So a Democrat who's more like a Republican. And the Republicans are extremely weak. But Christians and Muslims, they have to come together to fix this. Perverts are being allowed to expose themselves to children, and women who've lost their sense of morality and who are atheists are allowing it, and they mock you when you complain about it. They shame you. They're gaining in number. They're like zombies. It's like The Walking Dead. It's like the White Walkers of Game of Thrones. And it's not going back. It's only getting worse. The lockdowns exacerbated it. The lockdowns made more addicts. The lockdowns made more people sick and twisted in their mind. I don't know how this video is going to sound. But my America is not the America that I knew. It's not the America that's projected. The old liberty. There's not the America that the tribes knew. This is the America of decay that's being systematically balkanized, dismantled, and what's going to replace it is not going to be a very fun place. And you should care about this if you live in another country, because America has military bases all over the world. And the bases for Twitter and all these apps are in America. So the degeneracy that's here will get to you either through the communication airwaves or physically through the military bases, or through indoctrinating your kids in the university system, which is almost like an occult facility that processes their brains into something that you would not like and that Allah doesn't approve of. I don't care how it sounds. I don't know how else to word it in a better way, but teach your men how to be masculine. Save your sons. Make your daughters moral. Please consider what I said.